Sheesh, can't even tell it's there, look. Do you have existential dread and that feeling of burnout and you're just ignoring it because you have so much to do, so now you're doing random home projects? Yeah, me either. So this little bathtub chip, I'm gonna teach you how to fix that today on Handy Jeff. Okay, so let's talk about the things that we're gonna need to do this job. We've got some spare cardboard, something to spread your Bondo with. I'm actually not gonna use this, but some rubbing alcohol. We're gonna use some short strand fiberglass body filler, some all-purpose putty, a Q-tip, tub and tile aerosol. This is just to paint it when it's done. You also can get this in paintable, some painter's tape, and then varying degrees of sandpaper. And this is really just to open the Bondo can and clear out any debris we might have. Also, if you guys need any of this stuff, it'll be a link down below in the description. So do me a favor, grab it from there. It helps support the channel, helps you keep making videos like this, teaching you guys how to repair things. And also, you won't have to go to 12 different hardware stores to find this little guy. Because you know how hard this is to find? It's very hard. So it'll be on Amazon. Anyway, link down below in the description. Let's get this thing cleaned up. As you can see, we've got some of these little chips here. We're just gonna clean those out. I'm using a screwdriver, just knock those bad boys out. I honestly have no earthly idea how this even happens because my girlfriend bought this house and this is exactly how it was. So we're gonna make the missus happy and do a little project for her so that we don't have to see this stuff. All right, we've got that cleared up. It does look relatively clean, but I just wanna make sure there's absolutely nothing on there. So we're gonna take Q-tip, some rubbing alcohol, put it on there, get down in there, nice, clean everything up. Make sure there's no debris, no scum, no nothing around this hole. And I used way too much. So we're gonna have to let this dry out. But I tell you what, whereas I had told you that you could use a Bondo spreader, I'm actually gonna use something else. So let's go get that something else. Okay, so this is a great time for me to tell you that if you have a structural crack, you're gonna need to drill out some holes and put some spray foam into it. So I obviously don't have one of those. It's purely cosmetic. So maybe find another video or keep watching and just know that you need to drill out some holes and put some spray foam down in there so it has support basically for when you step on it. But anyway, this is what we're gonna use. So we're taking a popsicle break. We need that popsicle stick. Let's go! You need an excuse to eat a popsicle. Fix bathtub. Sometimes you just need an excuse to eat a popsicle. Anyway, cheers. Yeah! Make sure you wash this thing off after you've done it too. I just washed it off, so. There we go. If you're gonna use a popsicle stick, wash your stick. All right, so I'm gonna hit this with a little 180 grit, just real quick. And then I'm gonna grab my cleaner again and double clean everything. There we go. Just like that. Got it all done. Everything's wiped away, all the dust. Now let's mix some Bondo up. Okay, so for those of you who have never done it, Bondo has two parts. It's basically an epoxy. You use some of the stuff out of the can, some of this cream hardener, and that's all there is to it. There's really no exact science to it. So let's get this can popped open. Also, it's needless to say that if you're doing a bigger repair, you want to make sure this doesn't get anywhere. So I'm going to mix it while it's inside of my box. Don't forget your popsicle stick. So we're going to grab some of this Bondo. It's down in there. So you can see here, it sticks together real well. That's because it's got reinforced fiberglass inside of it, very short strands. So we're going to get a goop out of there. It might be kind of hard for me to do with just one hand, but let's try it. There we go. And honestly, that might be about all we need because we're patching just such a small hole. So then let's unscrew our hardener. And as you can see, it's blue. So you just put a little blue in there. And you're going to want to work the blue all the way in. All right, had to screw that on there. Also, it goes without saying, Bondo's smelly stuff. So close that up. Make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. So let's just mix, 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 mix. Get some of that stuff up in there. And you'll see how The blue goes throughout the entire green there. And I like to clean my tool because you always want to make sure that you clean your tool. All right, I've moved our Bondo close to our hole, so we're just gonna goop a little bit. Try to make sure that it's as clean as physically possible because this stuff gets messy fast. So get it rolled on there just like that. Then just fill this hole in, just like that. Try to smooth it out as good as possible, but that's what the sandpaper is going to be for. So let's just go ahead and smooth this out. Make sure you fill it with enough material. All right, I'm going to need a little bit more here. Got a little bit more. Boom. And you can kind of see the strands of fiberglass. That's going to add some structural reinforcement. And it's actually waterproof, whereas other forms of Bondo are only water resistant. All right, got you in there. This stuff should start hardening any second here. We want to make sure that we get it on there before it's completely got tacky. So, biggest thing is to make sure I filled it in enough because we're going to end up using some sandpaper to sand it down, but it's way easier to not overfill it and to just fill it enough. Okay, so I got everything figured out there that I needed to do. I'm just going to clean this up around the hole as good as I can using a little rubbing alcohol and toilet paper since we're in a bathroom. Just less work that I'll have to do later on. So now we have to wait, and then we will fill this hole up one more time. I'm going to watch a timer on my phone and let you know how long it takes. It's been about 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and sand this down. It's not wet to the touch. It's hard to the touch. I've got a little 180 grit sandpaper here. Just going to roll this bad boy up. We're not scraping the entire tub. And we're going to sand this bad boy flat. And what I'm doing here is I'm checking to see what the level's like, make sure there aren't any ridges. Where you're actually repairing the bathtub, take our toilet paper, wipe away a little bit of that dust. Another Q-tip, some more rubbing alcohol. I want to clean this bad boy up as much as we can. So get rid of all that dust. So there's no debris left over. So we want a good contact patch. All right, so once again, I am mixing some Bondo up here. This is gonna harden really fast because I got such a small amount. All right, she's good and mixed, but we don't need much. So we're gonna take this. Let's get a first person on this bad boy. So what we wanna do is make sure that it's semi-flat on your stick. Come in, just press and wipe along there like that. Now this stuff is a little bit harder to work with. As you can tell, that's what the fibers are doing. But there we go. That'll be completely covered like that. And we should only have to sand it down and then use a little bit of putty to smooth it out. Once again, I'm gonna clean this edge up using a little bit of paper towel or a little bit of toilet paper since we are in a bathroom. Just try to wipe, because that's just less sanding work that we have to do afterwards, after it dries. And then we're gonna have to wait probably another 15 minutes to be able to come back and sand this down again. It's getting to the point where we're gonna soon be able to just run our finger across it and it'll feel smooth. All right, since we're waiting, we've still got to wait 15 minutes before we can sand this down again. I just wanted to reach out to you guys and say, hey, what kind of videos do you want me to make? I'm willing to fix anything. Leave something down in the comments down below. And if it's something I can artificially create, or if it's something that I already have, because I do have a lot of projects, I'd love to fix it for you and show you how to do it. I am testing to see if it is hardened completely. You don't want it to be tacky at all. This has a little bit of a tack to it, so we're just going to wait a couple minutes before we sand it down again. All right, we are back with our little baby piece of sandpaper.
it has hardened. So let's just scrape all this off that we can. Now we're going to do just one layer of putty to smooth it over. So this is going to be our friend here. This stuff's so much easier to smooth over than that fiberglass reinforced. So I'm going to mix some of that up, and then we'll come back and I'll spread it on. All right, once again, we're going to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, a little bit of toilet paper, just to clean up all that dust that's around there. Perfect. All right, now let's let that dry and we'll mix up some putty while we're waiting. Pop this lid off, which I thought I'd already had it off, but it wasn't all the way yet. I'm gonna use 2 hands here. There we go. You can see that this is a different kind of consistency, and it also comes with a little different hardener. It is green, but same premise. You just mix it up, and then it'll be good to go. So we're going to take out, and really all this is just to smooth it out. Like I said, you don't need a ton. That's probably way too much, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my tool again. Nobody likes a dirty stick. Make sure you smooth that bad boy out, especially a bumpy stick. All right, so we're going to take some of our hardener. Ooh, it came out a different color there. It came out blue. I thought this one was green as well, but I guess it's blue. So that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. We're just going to go ahead and mix it up. And there's a ton of hardener in this compared to the amount of Bondo. You don't need near that much. It just squirted out on me. So make sure it's all one color, nice and seemingly smooth. This stuff doesn't stick like the other stuff does to your tool, so make sure you clean your tool off completely. You want it as flat as possible. So I'm actually going to use the clean side. Just pick up a little bit, just like that. Clean the edges. All right, we're going to come up here and just push it in there. Smooth it out. Now on this one, I'm not going to clean up the edges near as much because I've actually got too much Bondo there. I'm going to try to not make as much of a mess. That's why you won't have to clean it up as much. If you go about it that way, it's way less sanding and polishing at the very end there. So hold her firmly against what you're filling in there. All right, it's kind of like playing with Play-Doh, and that honestly looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to let that harden. I'll come back and we'll just sand that ridge all the way down 3 different times and polish it up, get it ready for paint. All right, she's nice and hard there. So we're going to take our 180 grit here. So we're just going to smooth it out using this, and then we'll polish it up at the very end using 1000 grit, and then use a 2000 grit because we want it to be as smooth as possible. So right now we're just knocking it down most of the way. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a lot easier to sand something out with 180 grit than 1000 grit. Okay, we're getting close, so I'm going to knock 1000 grit down here. All right, now we're going to knock it down using 2000. And this is really just to polish it off. You're not going to be able to see much come off with that 2000. Just trying to smooth it out the rest of the way. And she should be as smooth as you're going to want it to be for paint when you're finished. All right, I don't know if you can see, but that is very smooth, just like it should be. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we're going to tape this off, get it ready for paint. This bad boy, we're just going to overlap tape all along here. Obviously, I don't need a piece that was that big, but hey, you know what? It's a little hard to get the tape to lay exactly how you want it. So I'm gonna lay this just right below that. You can see the line there. And I want to give plenty of tape for coverage because we might have to blend this in using sandpaper. But honestly, the last time I did this, it came out pretty close to the right color. So, oh, we moved a little bit on that one. Let's lay her down a little bit better. Just like that. Perfect. I was covering a little bit of it. You do want to leave a gap so that you can completely paint everything, else it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. All right, final piece here. All right, this is just going to take like one little spurt of paint. So I've used this stuff before, this particular can. You've got to shake it till you look like Quagmire on that one Family Guy episode. So I'm going for a minute. All right, we did a little test spray there, so let's... Ooh, that's gonna run like crazy. That's why we have paper towels. So obviously, this is probably gonna require a few different coats. So we're gonna bring it back. All right, I cleaned the gunk that was in the end of that paint can out so it won't spray as weird. So we're gonna spray it from clear back here. Just like that. And now we wait. We're gonna want it to dry and then we'll come back and do another coat. All right, I guess I'll let you watch the train wreck of me spraying this. Gotta try to get down below at a different angle, which is difficult. It's getting way too thick. As you can tell, it comes out like crazy when you spray it. But it is covering a little bit better, and luckily for us, it's only 15 minutes till it dries. I'm gonna let it go dry one more time, and then I'm gonna spray it a third time, and we'll call it good. There. All right, we're coming in hot with that third coat. And that's where we're gonna leave it. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll come up, peel the tape off for you, and give you a reveal. All right, time for the big reveal, guys. Let's check it out, see what it ends up looking like. You know what? Honestly, for what it was before, I'll take it. The rest of the tub's gonna need cleaned up a little bit when it's done, but that's fine. No big deal. And I can polish out that extra stuff there, and it'll disappear. Awesome. I have let our little patch set up over the weekend. It says that it should take about 3 days so before it's fully cured. So we've let it get cured. Now I have a wet sheet of 2000 grit sandpaper, and I'm gonna fold it down here. Let me set you down. Okay, I'm taking my wet sheet of sandpaper, I just folded it in half, and I'm just gonna polish the edges off. That's all I'm gonna do here. Just to help it blend in a little bit. And something worth noting is that regardless, there's going to be scum that will build up on your shower, and that will help this blend in it won't stick out just as much. All right, in all honesty, I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. There is a little ledge here, but that's because I can't get sandpaper down in there very well, and I don't want to risk scratching up the actual finish and making it worse. So as a whole, I think this turned out pretty well. If you have any questions, please drop them below in the comments. I'd love to help you out. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I would love to answer them down in the comments. If this video helped you out, then please leave a like and subscribe. That helps push this video to more people. And until next time, when we fix something else, we'll see you in the next video.